Let's start with some rankings from On3, which of course is connected to Blue and Gold Illustrated. They have updated their national rankings, and 3 Notre Dame players improved their status in the rankings. Let's get some of your thoughts on these players. We'll start with Sullivan Absher.
Yeah, and I want to note real quick, Darren, that typically when we talk about rankings, we use what's called the On3 consensus, which takes On3's own rankings, 24/7 Sports, ESPN, and Rivals, and it equally weighs them, puts them together, and spews out this national ranking. So someone like Sullivan Absher is listed as the nation's 170 first overall player, number 13 offensive tackle. So that's the consensus when you look at all 4 of them, and you put that together. On3's individual rankings are much higher on Absher than the consensus. So he's the number 58 overall player and the number 7 offensive tackle. So from On3's own rankings, he moved up 19 spots. So add 19 on to 58, and whatever that number is, that's what he was before. I think, was that 77 or something? So that's what he was. So yeah, and I talked to Charles Power, the On3 director of scouting rankings, and you can find that article at blueandgold.com. And look, Absher is someone who doesn't really go to camps, so you don't get to see him in the offseason in person, so it's just game film, or if you go to a game in person. But on his senior videos so far, on what you can find online, he's looked fantastic. So Absher plays in a flex bone offense where he's not really out pass blocking much at all. So there's a little bit of a projection there, Darren, in terms of, is that something he can do on a regular basis? But, his size, 6'6", 295, how he gets out and, in the run game, how low he plays, the projection there is, it's pretty safe that he's going to be a darn good one on the next level.
And Sullivan is going to have a chance to see his future team kind of close by this week as the Irish go to his home state of North Carolina to take on the Tar Heels. Now let's get to Jaden Osborne, the linebacker from Louisiana. I'm wondering, Mike, and I've read this, and I don't know how much this factors in, but his size, maybe not the prototypical size you're looking for a linebacker. Has that held him back, do you think, in some of these rankings? And now his talent is overshadowing that, and he's starting to move up the rankings?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's not the biggest. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's listed at 6'1.5", 202 pounds. But he's been outstanding as a senior. It's just, I think he's only played in 2 or 3 games. But what I was told, he's been playing fast and physical. That's pretty good. And when someone's using the word striking power as a linebacker, yeah, that sounds good as well. So that's Jaden Osborne, number 202 overall player, number 17 linebacker, and he moved up 17 spots in the national ranking. So the industry standard's higher on Osborne than On3's own rankings. But at the end of the day, he's a darn good talent. And his brother plays cornerback at Auburn, and the Tigers coaching staff is not letting up on having the Osborne duo in Auburn, but do believe that the Fighting Irish will be able to hold off that SEC school.
And the third player that moved up in these rankings is Drayk Bowen.
Yeah, how about that? Another linebacker, someone who, for whatever reasons, just kind of consistently fallen in the rankings, Darren. But he moved up 27 spots, and was told that On3's got their hands on some verified data on him. Data is getting that arm length and hand size and an accurate height and weight and 40 time. It's big for these rankings sites, and Darren, it's huge for Notre Dame and these other schools. They want that stuff bad because, think about if you're hiring for a job and you got 50 resumes that come in, you're looking for anything that can kind of, and they're all similar, let's say. You're looking for anything that can separate a Mike Singer from a Darren Pritchett. Obviously Darren's got the good looks over Mike Singer. I've always been told I got a face for radio, so maybe that's why I do so well as a guest on WSBT. But yeah, jokes aside.
Bad example.
Bowen's also been outstanding to start his senior season as well. Just been such a highly productive player that's carried that team, for the past couple of years. Definitely an outstanding talent.
Let's talk about Jack Larson for a couple of moments. You went to see the tight end. What was your takeaway?
Outstanding. Just I thought kind of picked up where he left off when last time I got to see him. I actually went out and covered his commitment and got some video of him running around, with a couple of teammates. But Irish Invasion back in June, he was just dominant. You could argue he was the best player there. So this class of 2024 tight end commit for the Irish, 4-star prospect according to the On3 consensus. On3's own rankings have him a little bit lower. But look, he's a receiving tight end all the way. I mean, he's serviceable as a blocker, but at 6'3", 212 pounds, and he's only a junior, so who knows? You could get grow another inch and put on some more weight, but just kind of his size and skill set, he's a receiving tight end all the way. So you like Michael Mayer is that perfect blend of receiving and blocking. Although I think you can kind of the topic of Notre Dame's tight ends blocking that's a different one. We could say that for a different day, Darren. But Larson's not going to be someone you're going to want to use as a inline blocker all the time, but serviceable in that area and just an outstanding route. He's just another receiver. That's kind of Jack Larson. So, and he's really good at it.
I was going to say the video you posted of him, several videos, seems like he's got awfully good, strong hands. Made a couple of really outstanding catches.
Yeah, he caught it. It was 4. I mean, his team was just absolutely dismantling the other team, and did post a YouTube video with highlights and whatnot after that game. So folks can check that out if they want to. But he's had a great start to his junior season. It was a great atmosphere at Charlotte Catholic, one of the better atmospheres at a high school game that I've been to in a while. It surprised me how outstanding it was, and he played a pretty darn good game.
He's Mike Singer, Notre Dame football recruiting insider, Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com. I'm Darren Pritchett. Our Notre Dame recruiting update on WSBT Radio, also available on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. Dylan Edwards from Kansas, one of those guys that the Irish were able to flip. He had a 5-touchdown game last weekend.
4 rushing scores, Darren, and also returned a punt back to the house. That's not too bad. 19 rushing attempts, 185 yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns. His season totals 44 carries, 482 yards, 7 touchdowns, and that's just in 3 games. So Darren, and for folks watching on YouTube, we can pop on the film, and a radio audience, you'll just have to listen to us talk about it. But visualize. I mean, think that 5'8", 190 pound, ish, or 108. I don't know. Actually, he's not even close to being that big. But that smaller speedster, in the return game, get him out wide in the rushing attack. Just dynamic, so quick. You can't catch him in a phone booth kind of player. Darren, he's outstanding. He's, look, Notre Dame's looking to take 3 running backs in this class, and they can do that because Edwards is really just an offensive weapon. He's just, put him wherever. I think Jeremiah Love, the running back from St. Louis, who visited campus for the Marshall game, Notre Dame's still battling for him. He's kind of in the same mold as well. Just get them and put them on the field and let them make plays. Like those Dylan Edwards, Jeremiah Love, both that. And Edwards is a fantastic player.